All right, guys, if you haven't heard the news, and I mean, honestly, who can blame you at this point? I mean, it's really difficult to always constantly pay attention to video game news and everything like that. Most of us have lives and stuff like that. So we don't necessarily dive and pay attention to everything video game every single day. And if it wasn't for the fact that it just kind of popped up randomly when I turned on my computer this morning, I wouldn't have seen it. But this is huge. I did not expect to wake up this morning to find out that Microsoft was going to be purchasing Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. dollars. I mean, this is huge. Right now, if you'd actually gone back, a couple weeks, my thought was actually that Microsoft might possibly be on the verge of buying Ubisoft. And I actually thought that they were possibly buying EA like a year or two ago, when they started acquiring a bunch of studios. So, I mean, to kind of have this come out of the blue like I mean, it's, as a huge Xbox guy, I mean, this is cool to me. I mean, a lot of the Activision fans right now are probably more of the Call of Duty type, which I used to like Call of Duty back in the day. Not so much anymore. Kind of, it got a little bit stale. But I'm definitely excited for the possibilities that remain with some of the other games. Most notably, something like World of Warcraft. Just the Warcraft strategy games, StarCraft, Diablo. Those are kind of the games that I love. The Blizzard side of Activision Blizzard. And, this is just incredible news. And I do wonder how you guys, on the Sony side are feeling about this. If you haven't heard the news yet, I mean, if this kind of comes as a shock to you, I mean, yeah, this is kind of exciting. But I mean, we all agree that, at least I think we can all agree that a good competition is generally one of the best practices. This definitely seems to be a huge shot across the bow of Sony. I mean, they're definitely taking a commanding presence with this kind of purchase. I mean, this is I don't want to be tripe and say like this is a game changer, but this is pretty big news. Now, of course, the thing to note here is that this is still pending regulatory approval, so there is a possibility that it doesn't actually complete itself. But generally speaking, if they are going ahead and announcing it, that means that they probably have a pretty good estimate that it, will get approved, that there won't be any, headaches or heartache, with this deal. That being said, they do estimate that sometime in, fiscal year 2023, this will be completed. So it won't have, I guess, an immediate impact with any current games or pending releases as far as I can tell. But definitely the future of some franchises most likely will be locked out for the PlayStation. Kind of like how Bethesda got taken over, So Fallout and those types of games are not going to be on the PlayStation as far as I can tell. So, this is another blow to the Sony movement. Whether this actually, results in any sort of changes for, Microsoft's fortune, whether this means there's going to be a huge amount of Xboxes being sold now, I don't want to speculate too much on that, but I definitely think that this could be a real big challenge for Sony to overcome. Now, of course, this comes with a ton of potential and a ton of different crossover type stuff that could be great. One of my biggest criticisms with the Division has kind of always been that it really felt like the team just didn't quite understand that genre. They didn't quite understand the RPG MMO aspect. And going back, I think I've said numerous times in a bunch of my videos where I really wish they would have brought in some veterans of the industry, some World of Warcraft type people to make the game feel and play more like an RPG, feel a little bit more balanced, a little bit more, fun, and with a lot more variety, just kind of a better experience, a larger, more persistent, more integrated world with more exciting, more, interesting things to do. Well, one of the things that I've kind of dreamed of since playing The Division has always been having Halo like that, having The Division in the Halo universe. I thought that would have been amazing. And Halo Infinity kind of takes some steps towards going in that open world, doing these, little side missions and stuff like that. But as a whole, it feels more like a Far Cry or something like that. It feels much closer to an Ubisoft type game than it does to, a traditional Halo, and it doesn't really feel like an RPG at all. It feels more like, again, Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, that kind of stuff. Now, Halo Infinite is I'm still enjoying it. I'm playing it through it currently, but it doesn't meet my, desires to play a Division type game of the Halo universe. And it would definitely be absolutely amazing if, maybe they gave some, this Halo IP stuff to, possibly Blizzard to take over, maybe even create a Halo MMO. I mean, maybe that sounds a little foolish to, hope for something like that, but I think that could be really cool. I mean, the Spartan armor, Spartan weapons, the Covenant weapons. I mean, that all kind of, you could create a huge, persistent world with all this stuff in the Halo universe. You could create so much RPG depth with all of the, the classic stuff in the Halo games. So there is a ton of potential there, a ton of interesting stuff. And yeah, it's tough to, say that Blizzard is the company that it's been. But I want to be hopeful with this because this does sound really interesting to me. The other thing that I kind of found potentially interesting is, these deals do take a really long time to actually, go through. I mean, there's tons of negotiations, there's, preliminary negotiations, there's evaluations, there's all sorts of things that have to take place, right? They don't just announce this because they just talked about it. Well, obviously, most of us know that Destiny was, obviously produced by Bungie or created by Bungie. They were a part of Activision Blizzard until they just recently split. I mean, like a year or two ago? I'm kind of wondering in my mind now, like, did they leave, not just because of problems. They said that they had, some differences of opinion. They wanted to, do their own thing. But did they really leave because they found out that Microsoft was attempting to buy Activision Blizzard, and so they just kind of like, we don't want to be brought back into the Microsoft ecosystem right now. We like doing our own thing. We got to get out of here. Like it's kind of an interesting thing to look at in hindsight. Is this the real reason why Bungie left Activision Blizzard? But yeah, I mean, this is as you could tell, I'm pretty excited about it. I definitely hope we hear some good things. I really hope we, get some interesting, fantastic new games to come out of this. Like there is so much potential here that it hurts to think about it. It's just, I don't want to be the pessimist. I don't want that to come out. I don't want this to get ruined by, just terrible decisions and terrible games. I want this to be as amazing as possible. I mean, this could be a huge, revolution in terms of what, we are being offered in the gaming community right now. I mean, a lot of the rehashes and the remakes and just the general just cookie cutter, stuff that has been going on. This is kind of one of those shakeups that could be good for the gaming industry. Now, of course, again, on the Sony side, yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult for them, but who knows? This could also spur Sony into, really investing, really digging deep, and, doing their own, smart moves for new IPs, for their own, studios, and maybe even buying their own studios. I mean, maybe even buying, Take-Two or Ubisoft. I hope they don't buy Ubisoft because I want the Division. But what I'm saying is this could encourage a lot of new growth, a lot of new IP, a lot of, rethinking of current IPs in a very positive way. But we'll just have to wait and see how that's going to actually turn out. Wait and see how this looks. But yeah, guys, I gotta admit, I'm excited. This is some good news for me. I can understand that if you're a Sony guy and you love Call of Duty, this probably hurts a little bit, especially with the way that Battlefield and some of the other first-person shooters are kind of not doing so well. But we'll have to see. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely keep an eye on this. Definitely interested in this material here. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.